So welcome to the Reliable HVACR live stream and podcast. You can watch this later on YouTube if you can't watch it live, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, all platforms. So today, I need to do a better job of like introducing people. So today we have Jimmy, who is also an HVAC instructor, does a lot of good for everybody. He teaches in the classroom. I've seen a lot of the hands-on stuff that he does. I think it's really cool. And he helps on social media. So he's part of that whole HVAC Army on TikTok. They do a lot of good for up-and-coming techs, giveaways, tech support, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he has a whole lot of other stuff going on. I think he's with HVACX now too, helping them out. So let me go ahead and bring on Jimmy. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I don't know why it lost the phone lost connection, so I had to reboot the thing.
All right, man. Yeah, how's it going with you? How's the weather where you're at?
So, well, for me, the weather's going great. The company I work for is going crazy because I've been out of work since June 21st when I snapped the tendon in my left bicep. My left arm, so I won't be working until probably November.
Ouch.
Yeah, I go for surgery Friday actually. So 30
okay.
days from the time. Yeah, so 30 days from the time I injured myself to the time I get my arm fixed.
I see, and I kind of wanted to ask you about that before we started the show. So how's it doing? Are you in pain with that, or how does that work?
During the day, it's not a problem. It's just mostly at night when I try to sleep, you can't get comfortable because your arm's in a position where the muscle's not there and it doesn't feel right. And I toss and turn every night.
I got you, man. That sucks. On the subject of that, like I'm dealing with a minor injury, right? I'm an advocate for like safety, getting help when you need it. If you're on the roof, doing a major project, we do a lot of compressor changeouts. Those things can get heavy. Coil changeouts, make sure you have guys, make sure you have the proper equipment and stuff, because we've all been there trying to lift way too much weight on our own. God forbid you fall off a ladder or anything like that. That's happened too. But yeah, like this. Yeah, it happens, man. And I'm dealing with a stupid injury. I like pulled my back a little bit. So I've been kind of like, it's been tweaked all week or last week. But it was because, I was kind of getting frustrated because I work with my brother and my dad and my uncle. So like sometimes you get a little frustrated and stuff. And we were trying to haul up a compressor. It wasn't a heavy one. And I went and tried to show him, how I told him, I was like, it's not that heavy. Let me show you. And I pulled it up a few times. Started like flinging it around, and then like later that day I'm like, oh man, I must have pulled something and my back hurts now.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, literally I was setting a ladder up, which we've all done thousands of times throughout the years, and I was kicking the feet out to dig it in the dirt. When the wind came, it just blew the ladder over to the left, and when it did that, when I was lifting up to turn the feet, my hand went in between the rungs. So my hand was trapped between the rungs. So it literally just pulled to the left and twisted. When it did that, I felt the snap in my elbow and I felt the muscle go up. And then when it landed, I was down leaning with it, and I was able to get my arm out of it as it went down after it pulled and snapped it. I mean, it's not fun, but I've done worse damages to myself in this industry than that.
Yeah, at least you're in pretty good spirits, and you're not like, I know you can't sleep well, but at least the pain is not there all day. But yeah, the trade, the HVAC trade, you deal with high voltage, you deal with high rooftops, you deal with a lot of like dangerous things. You have to be cautious on how you work. I try to get like all the equipment that I need. I recently got like one of these little it's called a lockjaw ladder grip. so I'm able to lock
Mm-hmm.
my ladder to the roofs and stuff. Because like here it gets really windy too. We're by the coast and everything, so like that wind will come in real strong, before you get a chance to set your ladder in the way you want it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I've got the comments up, and there's someone who says 4-1. I'm gonna hit my vape at some point in the show. While Jason says 4-1 hits the vape through his alligator Crocs. Well, I don't wear Crocs. I'll never wear Crocs, so don't have to worry about that. And I will not be hitting my vape during the show because I know how loud it is for y'all. So I have it off to the side. So after the show, I can hit it.
Yeah, man. The questions in the chat, they get pretty wild in here. It's the usual people.
So
We got
one of
Jennifer,
the guys,
Brian, and
yeah, I see them. One of the guys in here, Michael Pacelli, he is
Mhm.
actually one of my students who's coming up to this semester. He was in second year of my program, and he's actually coming up into my class this semester. We're going to have 30 guys in my third year class this semester.
Oh, nice. A lot of what I saw, like from what you post, is kind of similar to the stuff that I went through with my school.
Mm-hmm.
That open area with all the stuff that you can work on, the brazing, the equipment. I got to work on a lot of walk-in boxes, split systems, and then like any equipment that they had, vacuums, recoveries, all that good stuff. And it was awesome for me. I had a good experience with school. And it looks like, you all do something similar there, where it's a lot of hands-on.
So I taught. Let me give a history on how I taught. So I went through the same program I'm teaching. I finished up in 2002. My third year teacher, Warren Roper, who still teaches to this day down in Raleigh, Durham Tech, he got me involved in teaching. So I came back and taught his second year for him.
Okay.
When we were there, I was building up the lab. We had air handlers, outdoor units. I had a train heat pump with the sides disabled, pulled off of it. The only thing left was the four corner post. And I'd freeze that thing up over the weekend for the guys to show them that a heat pump can still produce heat if it's frozen up. We had a
Mhm.
walk-in cooler. I taught for 5 years. I left because of just stress on the relationship between teaching and coaching soccer and working. I was spread so thin. I had one day for my wife and her kids. So I just basically gave up teaching at that point there because I enjoyed soccer more. Even though teaching gave me money, I've really enjoyed soccer because my stepson was playing soccer with me. Uh,
Mhm.
10 years ago, I got called back up and said, hey, we need you to come back and teach. And I've been teaching. This fall will be my 10th year back teaching. I thoroughly enjoy it. I've got a good group of people that teach with me. I've got a good boss who lets me run wild and do what I need to do. The day school teacher, we use the same shop as the high school students, so we share a locality. But we've got a 20 SEER XI train in there that my class put ductwork on. We've got a 14 SEER carrier heat pump. I've got a ream we're going to hopefully try to install this year. I've got a carrier boiler that's converted to propane we're going to try to install this year. I've got 2 carrier gas ACs. I've got 1 York dual fuel 90 plus. I've got a Hallmark belt-driven oil boiler, forget what brand it is, low boy oil boiler. I've got a electrical trainer from iManifold, a heat pump trainer from iManifold. I've got a gas trainer from iManifold. We've got 2 Lennox AC air handlers and outdoor units. We've got a ton of stuff. I've got gas furnaces that the guys have to pull the heat exchangers out and strip them down to bare or anything and act like they're putting them back in. We'd make them pull the blower motors as well. We have them pull vacuums, do charging, superheat subcool. Turn my
Man,
phone sideways.
that sounds really interesting. I don't think we got that far, having to take out heat exchangers, kind of getting into detail like that. But we did a lot of hands-on, the basics, pumping down the system, vacuuming, isolating, the compressor, isolating different things, king valves. We did a lot of cool stuff. Charging, I used the old school cylinder to charge. I
Mm-hmm.
forgot what it's called. The
Charge arrestor.
Yeah, we use the old. They had us do it. That's what I kind of appreciated. They had us do a lot of old school type of stuff, even though like there were scales and other things at that time. Because I went to school, it's probably been like 10 years, 10 to 12 years, and they had us do that. And then when we did our like duct class, they had us make our duct manually, with all the hand tools. I had to make
Mm-hmm.
90s, I had to make all these offsets and stuff like that. And they told us, you could get this fabricated at the shop. You could do it another way, but we want you to learn how to do it, the old school way, by hand, and uh, the hard way, And afterwards, I appreciated it. And, learning hands on, I think, is the best way. Um, so, like I said, I had a good experience with school. Some people don't like it, they think it's all textbook stuff. But if you can mix in both and do a lot of the hands on stuff, that's where you learn a lot and have a good
Yeah,
teacher.
I have a duct. I have a Pittsburgh machine. I have a break there. We do this. I do duct design classes to show them how, the layman's terms of, here's a duct class 101. In 3 hours, I'm going to teach you the understanding of duct work, how to size it, how to look at it. So when you go to a house, if you see a size 10-inch duct on a 3-ton system, you should know immediately that's undersized, how much that duct actually can push through. I show them how to take a flat piece of metal, make a box, just to give them an idea. I try to give them every aspect of the trade that we can give them. We have new tools we have them play with. Uh, we teach them how to use a Baccarat, old school and new school, for doing combustion and analyzing on oil furnaces. So we try to teach everything we possibly can, and we only have 15 weeks per semester. So we do
Oh,
as
okay.
much as we can in a little bit of time we have them.
Yeah, and that's important because, stuff like that, like, I don't know, a lot of guys nowadays, or in general, they just want to hook up gauges and check it as quickly as possible. But if you can teach these people or whoever's going to school to look out for certain things, look for the little details, get used to, like you said, if it's undersized, the duct's wrong, a lot of little things. Like a lot of the calls that I get, it's not going to be that it's low on charge. It's not going to be that, you know, the TXV is bad or whatever it is. It's usually there's something wrong with the airflow. There's something wrong with something super simple. And if you would just take the time to look and kind of observe the whole thing and then look for these common things that we know with experience, you'll figure out a lot of the stuff. And like my teachers taught me the same way. They always told me, 90% of the calls are going to be electrical. Check your power, check voltage here and there. The last thing you want to do is hook up your gauges. So, people are quick to just throw on the gauges, check the charge, and be done with it. Add a pound or something, when the problem is actually, something totally different.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of the guys nowadays that are scared of I wouldn't say scared, they're intimidated by the electronic TXVs because it's a stepper motor, and you're like, well, how do I diagnose it? Well, it's real simple. I know with Train, they have a setup there where you can forcefully open and close and watch your pressures. And if your pressures don't close, you have a bad stepper motor on your TXV, and you can literally, get a stepper motor, put it on there, see if it opens and closes it. If it doesn't, then you replace the TXV. It's not hard to diagnose the TXV still if you know what you're looking at. But with all these new inverter boards out there, you have to basically be almost a computer engineer to work on these things. And I know with Train, if you have to condemn a inverter board and it's under warranty, you have to talk to factory tech support. EEV, haha, Jen. So, but it's like I will say this: York's inverter systems are the worst because it gives you that nice little box right there that has little 2 gauges and a happy face that says, "Hey, everything is good and happy." But their high pressure switches are the worst. They go constantly. I've had to replace 5 high pressure switches on those systems within less than a year, and you have to disassemble half that unit to get to it because it's brazed in on the very bottom, of the unit in the far back, and the unit's 5 foot tall. And I'm not a small guy. I'm not leaning over that unit no more. I got to take half of it apart to get to it. So it's just one of those things where if you don't know the voltage going through, you have to call tech support. And everyone knows we all hate talking to tech support um, to get
Hey,
the proper numbers that they want for the stuff.
yeah, man, I hate tech support too. I'm not gonna lie. I've had to deal with callbacks that come back the hours later the next day, and I'm like, I already figured it out by then.
Yeah.
But
Let's
it's
see.
it's the same. It's the same across the board. If whether you go to school or not, it's very important to get your basics down, basic refrigeration cycle, and then it's just as far as like controls or safeties that are put in between those. And you're golden. Like I live in an area that has a lot of old school equipment, a lot of old equipment, so everything's mechanical around here. I barely started seeing the EEVs. We have now the Intelligen Heatcraft in our walk-in boxes. I'm not seeing a whole lot of new stuff yet on the AC side. The rooftop units, but I know it's
Mhm.
coming. I've seen a couple here and there. I'm barely starting to see R290 stuff like that, but it can be intimidating. But if you just think about it, they all have a compressor. They all got to reject heat. They all got to do the same thing. It's just some might have different safeties. Some might have different kinds of boards, controllers, and stuff like that. The other day, I just worked on a what do you call it? A variable speed compressor. Never seen one
Mhm.
before, and I couldn't tell what was wrong with it because it tells me on the display because it's a train that there's
Okay.
a drive fault. Right? It's telling me that there's something wrong with the drive. I I went the old school route, started eliminating things. I eliminated the drive from the circuit. My compressor started popping my breakers, and I'm like, okay, I eliminated everything else, and the compressor can't run. It would like vibrate real aggressively and then shut off. So it wasn't shorted to ground or anything like that, but it was locking up. We put in a new one. The variable speed, the drive was fine. It worked fine. It ran, and we got it up and going. But just you got to look at it like at its core, the basics, because at that point I could have just opened that thing and been like, whoa, what the hell? Like, what's all these electrical computer type stuff? I've never seen it before. And I could have gotten scared and been like, no, I'm not going to do it. But it's all the same stuff. That's what I always tell people.
Yeah. Well, right now Ryan owes me $100. I got pants on too. Yeah, because I mean the inverter board stuff, it's there. It's there. So it's fun stuff like Carrier. I will say this: Carrier package units have that nice blower wheel now. I wouldn't say a motor, but a blower wheel, fan blades basically. And with them there, you have to take a static pressure reading, take a DC volt reading, go to the circuit board, and set the switch to whatever your CFMs you need it to be at. You set the switch for your DC volt reading, and then you turn the dial to your CFM, your static pressure, to set your CFMs. If you don't do that, the unit's not going to run right. You'll burn that motor up.
Oh yeah, and just like that too. The first time I saw like a DC controlled motor or a DC motor on a train, I was like, what the hell is this? Just took the time to read the manual, and you'll kind of figure it out or look up literature and stuff like that. So that's as long as, at least for me, it wasn't stuff that I saw in school, but like the thing that I got from school was to read up on the equipment, right? Look at those
Yeah.
manuals, look up literature. I mean, it wasn't as available as it is now, when I was going through that, but there's no excuse now. You have the internet, you have Google, you have people like Blue On, and a lot of these manufacturers have their literature online where you can download them basically to your phone, have it in your pocket, and just read through the manual. That has saved me so much. And I always try to call tech support, or I always try to call somebody, like going through this. I've worked alone a lot. I've learned a lot on my own. I made a lot of mistakes on my own and stuff like that. I didn't really have too many people, or I didn't have a journeyman or a senior tech, because I was trying to run this business with my dad, and he doesn't do HVAC. He does hot side work. So I never had too much help, but if I just sat down and looked up this stuff and read after work, it all makes sense if you just take the time to read. But going back to the school stuff, I'm glad that you're teaching them all the little things, the tech tips or what to look for and this and that, because some schools don't do that. Some schools just give you a textbook and it's like, hey, you pass or you fail.
Yeah, it's really hard to fail our program or our classes, I should say. But I mean, if you don't show up, you get kicked out. But I mean, I look at it this way: you're in third year now. I give homework questions. I give like if you say, let's say the heat pump chapter in my book has
Hmm.
61 questions for homework, textbook questions in the back of it. I'll go through there and go, okay, I want you to do these numbered questions here, and it might be 12 out of the 61. And then for quizzes, it's a 10-question quiz. I give you a 100-question final exam, and we review the exam before we take the day before they take the exam. So if we'll do a review on Thursday, they'll take the exam on Tuesday, and I read the exam verbatim to them. So it's not like, hey, you're not going to pass this. No, you're going to pass. I'm going to give you every opportunity, but it's also I have 15 questions of worded answers they have to remember. And they're like, this is not fair. I said, look, it's called retention.
Yeah.
The key to our industry is retention of knowledge. You have to remember these things back there in the field because you're not always going to have, an ability to call somebody. I mean, you might be in an area where you have no cell phone service and you need to try to figure out how to do something and you can't call nobody, you can't look nothing up. You gotta have to have those retention questions. So it's one of those fun things I try to make them do and learn. It, it's a joy seeing guys come in there who have been in the trade and they go, oh, this is how you do things, and I've been doing this for years. I know how to do this. And I'm like, okay, so and I'm gonna tell this story, and I know everybody, including yourself, is going to laugh when I tell you this story about this student. He had taken
Right.
the program at another school, and we were talking about gas. He was like, I already know how to work on gas. I said, okay, well, how do you check a flame sensor? I kid you not. He said, you check it with continuity. I said, excuse me? Because you put your meter to continuity and you put it on one side of the flame sensor and the other side. If you have continuity through it, it's good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
um,
no, that's not. So we got into a discussion about this. And I tried to tell him, he's like, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. I was like, that's how you do it. No, it's not. I said, who told you that? Someone your old teacher. He's like, no. I said, well, whoever told you that is a dumbass. And I said, go to this page in the book right here. We flipped open to it. Everyone went to it. It says, see right there. Read that section right there. Um, yeah, needless to say, he kind of shut his head down and walked. And at the end of the night, he walked out with his head hanging real low. And he didn't challenge. He didn't challenge again. And at the end of the semester, he's like, I learned a lot by listening to you and not listening to what people were telling me at work on how to do things.
oh
You've
yeah.
corrected a lot of the things that they were telling me wrong.
That's the only issue with some people, and that's why, like when I work with people, or when I used to, when I was trying to learn on the job and stuff like that, I kind of had to take what they were saying with a grain of salt, just because I don't know if they're doing things, an old school way, if they have bad habits, things like that. So it's always good to learn from people, but you should always kind of like double check their work, so to speak. Look it up online, look it up from an actual like some actual literature or an institution or whatever it is, and fact check them, because they could have been doing it wrong their whole career and they're trying to pass on those bad habits and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and now, I will say this: there are some people say there's a right way and a wrong way to check a capacitor. Some people say you're
Oh,
supposed to check the capacitor under load, and some people say you're supposed to pull the wires and check it out without no power to it.
yeah.
I have learned both ways. Okay, I learned the load way and I learned the unload way. I've learned that when you do it under load, if it needs to be
Hmm.
35, and you're reading 35.2, or let's say 34.8, okay, under load. And I pull it out and I take a reading and I get 34.6. I'm not really far off. I'm 0.2 off of the load versus unloaded. And honestly, to me, checking it unloaded is a safer option to teach the students in class
Oh
so they
yeah.
don't get shocked.
Yeah.
If they want to learn the loaded way, they can learn it on their own leisure. I prefer the unloaded way for safety reasons, and I've done it for 25 years and never had a problem with it. And
Yeah,
the guys I teach love it.
same here. I learned about the loaded way not even too long ago, and I'm like, well, that's a cool way to check it or double check it, I guess. But I would prefer to do it the unloaded way maybe first, and then if I really don't, or if I really am second guessing it, I'll do it under a load. But yeah, I've done it the unloaded way, my entire career. I don't do a lot of AC works, I'm more refrigeration, but we do have like the single phase equipment over there that take, start, and run capacitors as well. So I've changed them out plenty of times, taking them out to check them. And I will agree with you on the safety part, because I've been shocked way too many times. So if I can eliminate that aspect of it, that's even better for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I was working on a old York unit, and I was checking voltages on it because the customer said it's not heating. It's not heating. So I'm sitting on my bucket. It's the old school York. I forget the style name of it. And I'm sitting there. I'm just checking voltages, and I'm checking the voltage on my transformer, checking both sides of it because I had 120 on one side, and I was checking the other side. And as soon as I touched the lead to the black terminal of the transformer, the female broke. The wire went down, hit the cabinet, arc blew, and next thing, and I had my glasses on, okay, because it was a white roof and it was sunny. A piece of hot copper wire flew up, hit my cheek, went up, and landed right here on my eyelid to where it curved up, and the part of the wire was poking my eyeball.
Oh man.
That's with glasses. So it took me a minute to pull. Once I was able to finally get it to pull that out, I felt it pull my eyelid. I pulled it. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" The wire shredded, complete shredded. It just blew apart completely. I have never in my life had something like that happen. But I'm wearing glasses, and it still managed to get up under here into here.
Yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard with the line of work that we do. I try to wear glasses all the time. I keep covered with sleeves, everything I can, and some things just they're bound to happen.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. I had a customer trying to change a capacitor one time because he could buy it online. Go right ahead. Have a nice day. Calls up the next day. Hey, can y'all come change that capacitor out? Oh, I get there. What happened? Well, I went to go grab the capacitor, and it threw me all the way across the ground and stuff. I said, "Did you turn the power off?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you discharge it?" "What's that?" But I'm saying that because of Sam's comment right there about talking about discharging the
Yeah.
capacitor. I always pull the wires off with my clines, and I'll take my clines and scrape it across the top of the capacitor and hit the cabinet with it and go about my business.
I'll even do it like a few extra times just to be safe, because I'm like, man,
Oh yeah.
I've had like some weird shocks like throughout my HVAC career. Like, you think the power's out, or you think you discharge it, something happens. Still, you never know.
I mean, I've probably been hit with the highest voltage around out of everyone in this chat right now, and I'm still here to talk about it because it was honestly a complete lack of knowledge on my end. I was still new into service, and I was working for a company that did oil, and I knew about the little push button reset, everything else, yada yada yada. Well, I get to one, and it wouldn't fire up. Flip the transformer back, start to undo the screws and pull everything out. Well, all of a sudden it did that. My arm was on the probes of the transformer. My hand was holding the electrodes, and the primary re-engaged. So for 30 seconds, I had 10,000 volts going from here to here and sparking out the end of the nozzle assembly.
Damn.
It was the newer Honeywell that just came out that would automatically retry 3 times before it kicked out. So I had to sit there and wait for it to finish up. Reached over with my left arm, turned the power off, and I sat there for 10 minutes with my hand doing this.
I can imagine, man. I
So
only work on like 208 3-phase systems, so I have one customer that has a 480 roof, and that was the first time I had seen that. So I'm very like, I've gotten shocked by contactors. I had a timer that was shocking the crap out of me because I don't know, we had a hot leg or something, because I swear we turned all the breakers off, all the power off outside, the disconnects. When I went in there like, oh, it's whatever. I didn't double check. I double check all my voltage. If I turn off power, I'm double checking again for power, because that time I took it for granted, and I went in there and I shocked the crap out of my hand.
yeah, we have lockout tagouts on all our trucks because we do commercial work as well. So we'll go down to panels and turn stuff off, and I'll lock it out so it can't be turned back on until we're done working on it. Just because I've had that problem before. Yeah, it's never fun when someone comes behind you and goes, "Oh, why is this off?" and your hands are touching something.
Yeah, man. We do a lot of like small restaurant, like fast food chains. They know better, but every now and then there is that one guy that tries to flip the breaker back on, like without asking any questions.
Yeah. And another thing with 480 systems, you got to be careful because the control voltage is not 24, it's 120
Oh yeah.
sometimes. So you've got to be careful with that because if you're messing with a 480 system and you go, okay, my control voltage is 24, no, it might be 120 on that situation there.
Yeah, it's always good
You
to
know,
double check and stuff like that. So how are the classes going? Do you get a lot of these kids that come in, willing to take all it in, or do you ever have any issues with any of the kids? Because
so
I went through
every
school and I
mhm.
kind of know a little bit.
so we're not generally a general trade school. So I can't say we are HVAC trade school here in Chesterfield. We use the school systems buildings and lab. Um,
Okay.
so we generally open to the general public. Like if Harry Homeowner wants to come take a class, Harry Homeowner can come take that class. That's nice and fine and dandy. But have I have 7 HVAC companies that guarantee me all their employees for training. So we have a lot of companies that say we're going to fill you up, and they fill me up every semester with their employees um, for that reason. So, and every once in a while, I'll have the one guy who is just there to be a total jerk and a pain in the butt, or I'll have the one guy who's a know-it-all. We always and I sit there, I talk to these guys like they're technicians. Okay. I've got no problem talking to them like we're in the field working together. Michael can attest to you on that. We talk like we're talking to each other. We cuss at each other. We give each other jokes. We mess with each other. But it's all part of the camaraderie of being a teacher and being in the trade and showing these guys this is how things work. Um, I had one guy who missed a bunch of class, and he I kicked after 7 nights. After 4 nights, he's supposed to be gone. Well, we were offsite a couple of nights and everything else. So when we came back to school, I filled out paperwork and turned them in. And he walked into the class. I said, "Dude, you're gone." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Dude, you're on night number 8 now. You've missed so much class. There's no way in hell you're going to make this up." I said, "So you've already been turned in. You're out of the class. There's the door. Have a nice day." "Well, I already paid to take my CFC." I'm like, "Well, go get a refund because you're not taking it." Well, he complained to my boss. My boss said, "Let him take the CFC." I said, "Fine." He paid $500 to take a program that he
Hmm.
failed, and he paid $50 to take CFC, which he blatantly didn't pass at all. He came nowhere near passing, and all he wants to do now is go cut hair. Now, the thing is, he told the office that he lost my number and he had no way to get a hold of me. Well, I am very familiar with a lot the HVAC companies in the industry in my area. So when you have, I have this reputation. They know who I am because I've been teaching for so long. I've been in the trade for so long. My nickname is Pork Chop. A lot of guys know me. One of the guys company he was working for, the co-owner has known me for over 20 years. So it's not like he couldn't go, hey, Eric, I need, Jimmy's phone number because I got a new phone. I don't have his number. Or he could have emailed the school, or he could have called the school. There's excuse after excuse after excuse with this guy. And it's just like, come on. So yes, we have those problem children every once in a while. We have the guys who think they know it all, then learn that they don't know it all. And then I have the guys who sit there and soak up every bit of knowledge they possibly can within the class, and and take it in. It's just, I do what I can, to make sure these guys know something. If I've taught them one thing by the end of the semester, I've done my job. If I've taught them a ton of things, then great. I'm even doing better. All right, Jen, have a good one. So, I mean, we have it set for a reason, and we try to make sure that these guys get a good education out of the program. They're paying $555 for me to teach them, or for Kevin to teach them, or for Trevor to teach them. And we do our best to make sure that they get the best education possible.
And that 550, what does that cover? Or how long is that?
So 555 covers, so it's first, all right, so I'll use Michael an example since he's in here. So this will be his third semester this fall. Back in the spring was second semester, and last fall was his first semester. So he went fall, spring, fall, 15 weeks each semester. He's done. That's it. He's got, so we're regulated up here. I don't know how y'all regulated with masters and certificate contractors license, but we have DPOR here, Department of Occupational Regulations, whatever it is. So they regulate us. We have to have 240 hours classroom and 4 years in the field documented by the HVAC company, not a maintenance contract company. So you have to be a physical HVAC company with the 4 years and 240 to take your journeyman's exam. Every year you're in the field longer reduces your hours requirements for taking your journeyman's exam. Then after 10 years, you can go straight for your master's. So if I got my journeyman's after 4 years, I hold it 4 years, then I can sit for my master's and have my master's at being in the trade for 5 years. That can happen.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 25 years. Ironically, I should have done this 15 years ago, but I'm finally sitting for my master's because I now have the retention and knowledge of everything I need to know about the HVAC industry. There you go. Michael put it up. Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. I knew it was something like that. So, I basically, I can now sit for my master's because I also was a mechanical plumbing inspector for a local jurisdiction here for 4 years. And I took those exams. I knew how to read the code book. So that has helped me a lot in this industry, knowing the codes with things. And that's one thing I teach the guys this code. And I would say this: you're in Texas, I'm in Virginia. There's people in Alabama, all over the country here. I know there's places that do this. I don't agree with it. It is code, but you cannot take a condensate drain line from an air handler and dump it into a vent stack for a plumbing system. Plumbing code, international plumbing code, residential will not allow that, because what happens is, you're running that trap in the AC mode and you're dumping condensate in there. But what happens when that trap dries up and you're tied into that vent stack? The trap dries up, your vent stack's there. Where are your sewer gases going? Up at the vent stack. But your air handler comes on the heat mode. It pulls that negative pressure across that trap. There's no water in it to stop basically this sewer gases, and it pulls it right into the house.
Yeah.
And people wonder why can't you do that? Well, that's why. So if you ever have, I know people in Texas do it. I know people in Bama do it. I know people in other states that do that. So if you ever have a customer who complains, I mean, I smell sewer gases, like it smells like a sewer in my house in the wintertime, that's why.
Yeah, it's a shame. But the 550, is is that per semester or what is that for?
That's per semester. So when you sign up for first
Okay.
year, you get the 555 and you get the first year book. Second year you sign up, you get a book, and third year you sign up and you don't get a book. So basically what it is, we took all 3 semesters, the cost of the semesters, the cost of the books, added it all together and just divided it evenly across all 3 semesters. So each semester is the same across the board versus having a high price for first year, a mid price for second year, and a low price for third year. It's all the same. You'll be paying the same price, but we just decided to make it evenly a 555 across the board to make it more cost effective.
That's very cost effective. I took basically the college route because it was a community college that kind of went full college. I don't know. They made a change when I went, but they offered an HVAC, like to major in HVAC basically. And I went to this what they call the technology campus, and that's where they have the welders, the HVAC guys, the auto mechanics. All the trades go there. I think even the
Yep.
nurses have a building next door and stuff like that. So I was at that campus, and that's where I got to do everything. So it's kind of cool that we had our own, warehouse area that we got to do all that stuff in. But it was not as affordable as 550 a semester. I can tell you that. But uh, it was okay. It wasn't a rip off. It wasn't like these trade schools that get you in debt and stuff like that. So that's good to know.
I,
That's very affordable.
yeah. So we don't just offer HVAC. We offer plumbing. We offer electrical. They have culinary arts. They have cosmetology. They have dental assisting. They have medical assisting. They have phlebotomy. They have GED. They they have we have a building trades class which teaches you kind of a general broad thing of everything for like if you want to be a maintenance person. So we do more than just HVAC at night. So we have all these
Okay.
programs that work together. Um, excuse me. So yeah, it's one of those things. Like one of my guys, Trevor, he went through another school, which cost him $18,000 to take that program with them,
Man.
and he's now teaching for me first year, and we work together. Um, he saw my program and how it works. He goes, "You teach more in your first and second year than I learned at the other place for $18,000." He goes, "I wish
Damn.
I knew about this back then." And that's one of those things. Like people, there's several of them out there. I'm not going to say their names, but there's
Yeah.
good HVAC schools and there's bad. And I tell people, look at your local school system first. See if they have a day school program. See if the day school offers a night adult education program or the next county over. See if someone offers it first, because that money you're spending for that county program goes back into the county, goes back into the program, versus going to these big colleges, these big schools, and spending $18,000, and you're not getting that good of a degree or education in it.
No, they're just trying
Some
to take
places,
your money, honestly.
yeah, and 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 I feel bad for guys. I feel bad for guys that go to that stuff. Also, I do other things for my students as well. So end of the year, I do a pizza party. I pay for that out of pocket because they're paying my salary basically. So our programs are self sufficient on the number of students. If I don't have 10 students, I can't run the program. If I have 20 students, I get a budget for buying stuff for school, and I can run the program, and it pays me. So I'll be for thanking them for coming. I buy the pizza party at the end of the year, and then we also
Cool.
go to Carrier Supply House, the local one to me. We do a tool night there every semester. The guys go in there; they can buy all the tools they want at 10% above cost. So
Hmm.
it's really great. With the thing I have with Carrier, I've been doing that with Carrier for 10 years with them, and it's been awesome. They supply food for us. The guys come in there, and one semester we spent $11,000 in tools in their supply house for stuff, and that was the
Oh, that's
biggest one night we
awesome.
had. And they're take with here's the cool thing. Carrier loves the program and how much I have it set up. They're actually taking it to all the CEs that are in our area up the East Coast and stuff, and other parts of the state, and getting with their local tech schools and doing the same thing to bring the guys into their supply house to buy the tools at that discounted price. You can't beat it.
Hmm. Yeah. And this okay, so you said you share this building, but whose school is this in particular? Like the one that you teach at, or the one that you teach for?
So so it's Chesterfield County Public Schools. We teach out of the Courthouse Road Tech Center. So we have a Courthouse Road Tech Center and a Whole Street Tech Center. So the courthouse is the original tech center. So it basically, like, during the day, like if a kid wants to take automotive, he can go there to take automotive, auto body, culinary arts, Cosmo, dental, computers. What else do they have there? Vet assistant, medical assistant, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. Actually, we just lost the plumbing this year, so that's a sad sign. Uh, Coding, medical coding. You think of something like a skill, like a nursing. You think of stuff
Hmm.
that is blue collar, basically. I call it trades
Yeah.
or medical assisting, something like that. Dental assisting. They have that there. They have all that during the day. So we use their building at night, and
Oh, okay.
ju- we have about half of the programs they teach during the day that we teach at night as well. Um,
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
So we try to keep up with things. I mean, they have a huge GED program. They got an ESL program, and it's just so big that we are more than spaced out than just one building. They use five of the school locations throughout the county for all these programs.
Nice. Somebody had asked about the CFC, I think you called it. Is that, or what is that in particular? Because they were asking, is that multiple choice? And then they brought up something else. I was trying to look for the
The,
comment right now. There was some the is that, or do you guys have a state license test?
so we have a master's exam.
Masters,
So
okay.
yeah, so right now I could take my journeyman's and have my journeyman's for a year, or I can take my master's and have that for 5 years and then whatever, renew it every 5 years. So, in order to open a company up here in Virginia, you have to have an HVAC master's
Hmm.
and then you have to have a business license. So, before, if I just say, all right, well, I'm going for a master's, I want to open Jimmy's Heating and Air Conditioning here in Midlothian. I hope I have the clientele, but I don't. But I'd have to have an HVAC master's. I had to pass that exam. Then I have to apply for a business license, get all that, get the business license, workers' comp, insurance, create an
Yeah.
LLC to do all this stuff. And I've been a co-owner of a company helping somebody out as a silent partner, and I
Hmm.
don't want that headache ever again. Um, so no, but no, and in order for me to say, okay, I have my master's in HVAC, that basically says, okay, he has his master's, he's worth some money. I could say basically say, okay, I want this much money to work here or wherever I want. If I want to go somewhere else and work there, I say I have my master's. A lot of people are going for the NATE certifications.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
a big NATE. I'm not a big NATE person. I taught a NATE program at the school. We taught it for about a year and a half, and it just was not. It wasn't worth it. We taught it for 4 semesters. Um, and just it just was not something that was really biting. It wasn't a good program and it wasn't a good class, and I just did not like it. The guys weren't getting
Yeah.
anything out of it,
It's
so
kind
we
of weird.
scrapped.
I got
We
my
scrapped
like
it.
I had planned to get it after school and stuff because I was trying to get everything. I got all my EPAs, Universal, all the like 410 PM, all the extra ones that they had.
Yeah,
And then I was trying to get my license. I got my state license too, but I was going for that Nate as well. But then I just kind of lost interest. I didn't see the point in it. It's just one of those extra, like, I guess, badges that you can have, but it's
yeah,
not really necessary. So I kind of scrapped it.
yeah. Nate was not a thing, and I can tell you now. One of the guys who created the NATE exams was here in Richmond, Virginia, and I know him personally, and we talked about it. He said, Jimmy, it's just something we're trying to create and build up to be like the automotive industry where they have their ASE mechanics. You could be a NATE technician and basically go anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country, and have that certification because it's a national certification. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I get
that's not
it.
really gonna work too well, Jack. But but Jack's a really cool guy. He's a smart man. So everything HVACR says, Jimmy seems like a smart dude. Where can I find him? So you can find me in several places. Facebook is Jimmy Hesbach. HVAC Army on Facebook. I'm in there all the time. TikTok and YouTube is HVAC_teacher. And of course, Instagram is HVAC_teacher 23114. It wouldn't let me just do the teacher without any extra numbers, which I was not happy about. So I put my zip code in there.
Yeah, I basically found you on TikTok, and you're part of that whole HVAC Army group. Do you want to go over that a little bit? Because you guys do a lot of good for like the young techs and people that need either tech support and giveaways. You know, you guys help a lot over there on the TikTok side.
Yeah, so Jared started the HVAC Army, and then he did a giveaway of a oscillating tool, and then he got Troy involved, and then he got Michael, which we call Wojo, Lizak.
Oh yeah,
they got involved. Sam, she's an oil tech. So Michael, Wojo, he's commercial equipment and refrigeration. Troy, of course, everyone knows Troy, 10-man. Ductwork.
Yes.
He's now working with Jared, actually.
Yeah, I just talked to him. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're working together. Sam is up in Western Mass, working there. We got then they brought me in there. I'm in Virginia. We got Johnny Cold, who's on the West Coast. Trevor on the West Coast. They both are out there working. We got Valerie. She was in the industry for years. And then she actually left the industry, is now a teacher at a program down by her. So she's
that's right.
down there. Then we got Aiden, who's in Alabama. Then we've got Kanan, who's in Alabama as well. We've got Adam in Tennessee. And then we got Val and Jen, of course. And Adriana up there. Adriana's in Mass as well, and of course Val and Jen. So when the second giveaway Jared did was a Vito bag with tools, and I said, "Hey man, I'd like to contribute to this." He was like, "Sure." So I sent him a ton of tools. I mean, I just bombarded him with a package of tools. He's like, "Holy crap!" I was sending him Navex stuff. I kept
seeing those videos,
Klein stuff. So when he did that, giveaway, it was great. And then came the pack out giveaway. And I tried to keep it quiet that I sent the entire pack out boxes up there, but it got out that I sent them. So whoop-de-doo. People are like, what? So I donated a lot of the stuff for the pack out giveaway. We ran it for a year. The guys had videos to make, and they had to follow certain rules, and basically, here's the way we want you to videos. Here's how you submit them. And the more you submit, the more the merrier. And as soon as we announced it, Adam was the very first one who made videos. And we just all right, y'all, the last month, like, come on, bring them up. And they started producing more and more videos. So everyone, we got together. I put all the videos in a file, tagged everyone in the file that was privately on my personal page only. Everyone went through all 68, 70 videos that we had, and we picked the winners. And that's how we did that. So, but yeah, we've got another giveaway coming. I'm not sure if you heard of Mueller Streamline.
Yeah. Well, I've heard of them because of Jarrett.
Yeah. So Jarrett got with Brian Mueller, and Brian, they're giving the HVAC Army a M18 tool with all the ACR fittings to go with it. They're going to give the tool with the press jaws and fittings. We're going to do a giveaway for it. Mueller is going to physically direct ship it to whoever wins and come out there and train them on how to use it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen him do that whole press thing. I got into it recently too, and those are not cheap. So that's a good giveaway.
No, it's not cheap. I bought a Milwaukee M18 press tool, and it cost me $4,000.
Yeah, it's a big investment, but it's really cool to use.
Yeah, we use it. We use it for the plumbing side of it, of what we do. We do boilers and stuff, so I'll use it for boilers. Um, but yeah, so there's that. Then of course everyone's heard of Navac right now, and how
Yeah.
up and coming they are with everything they're doing. I mean, they're blowing people out of the water with some of their tools.
I just
It's
started buying
you
all
know,
their power tools.
which ones do you
I
have?
think yeah, I think you've commented or something, but I have the flaring tool. I've already used it a few times to flare in.
Yes.
I don't do mini splits, but I every now and then when I got to change out a dryer, like
Hmm.
let's say I'm doing something in the evaporators, a simple, repair. I got to take out the charge for whatever reason, and I need to put in a dryer. Why do I have to take all my torches and all that up there to change out a dryer when I can take my flaring tool, put in a flare dryer, and be done with it, right? So that's what I got that
Yeah.
for. And then
How do you like it?
oh, it's awesome. Like it makes a perfect flare every time. Uh, I had actually switched to flare dryers right before I got it. So I have the manual block, which like
Hmm.
it was never an issue for me because like I never like when I started, I did use it a lot for certain things, certain connections, but like just after some time we didn't really do any flares or anything like that. And I don't do mini split work. But like I said, now that I do the dryers and every now and then you run into these flare connections, it's nice to not have to like sit there and crank out, each flare manually.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that thing does it perfect every time. It's like foolproof
You
at this
can't
point.
you can't beat it. I mean, I went from an old Yellow Jacket block to the um, Hilmar block, and then I thought the Hilmar block was great when it came out. And then when I first saw Navac, um, I was at the thing, and Lewis was the rep at the tool night. He showed it to me, and he had the kit that was the mini split kit. And I was like, you know what? We do a lot of mini splits, and we
Yeah.
sat there and I looked at it. I said, I want that mini split kit. So I bought it then, and I used it on jobs. I let my guys use it. One of the guys fell in love with it. He went out and bought just the flare kit. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah, so I knew about the power swedge, but was
I
delayed coming out
I just got that
when
one.
I
Yeah.
first got it. So I bought the regular swedge, the hand swedge one, the hand press one,
The hydraulic
and I
one.
bought the hydraulic one. I bought that and the expander pack with it. I even have the little orange handled small one you can put in your tool bag that you can turn this manually hand swedge like this.
Yeah.
I use that when I'm doing coil work or something like that, because I have to cut the ends of the coils and you cut it off, you ream it, and then you got to kind of open it back up a little bit. So I bought the hand swedge, and then I bought the power swedge. I gave the hand swedge to my installer. He loves it. My power swedge video has got like 130 some odd thousand views on
Oh,
TikTok
really?
on it. Yeah, it's like one of the top ones. I have it pinned. And then of course went to the expo, and found out my contact Lewis was no longer with Navac. I was sad. I found out on my drive down, but he told Andrew and them about me, and I got to talking with Andrew at the expo a while ago. Andrew shot me an email, said, "Hey, we want you to start doing promoting the stuff, this, that, and the other. Uh,
Oh, okay.
what what tool do you have? What tools do you have?" I told him what I had. He's like, "All right, I'll send you the tubing benders with the reverse kit." So he sent me their tubing benders. Uh, I love them. I got a couple of videos of me using them up. They're great. I had my class the first night I got them. I had my class out there. We were just bending copper left and right, having fun with them. But none of them wanted
Oh,
to be
that's
viewed
awesome.
playing with them because they're like, but yeah, we were playing with the tubing benders, having fun with that in class. I've used them on jobs. I've given them to guys to use on jobs.
Okay, yeah.
They're great. They and everything.
Yeah,
I
I
love it.
just recently got the Swager one to make, my couplings and all that.
Hmm.
Because I've never been a guy to buy couplings. I always make them on my own. So I used to have that block, the flaring block with the swage block.
Had the
I would
swedge.
always
Hmm.
crank them out, and then I upgraded to like the spin bits to from the ones you put in your drill. I
Yeah.
used them for a
Ugh.
while, and then
I've bought them and tried them out and didn't
yeah.
like them.
Well, they got the job done when I needed them. They weren't
Oh
the
yeah, they'll get
easiest
the job
to
done.
use. Yeah, and then I got the hydraulic one. I love that one. Um,
Hmm.
and then I just recently bought the battery powered one because they had that promotion, so I can get my free gauges with them.
Oh yeah, and see, I got a set of the analog gauges just because I've always gone digital. I've been digital with Field Piece forever. When
Oh,
Field Piece
really?
came out, I was one of the first. I bought the first Field Piece set of gauges in Richmond when they first came out. But with Navac, I was like, you know what? I need to have a set of second gauges because sometimes I need a second set. So I bought the analog
Or a
3 port
backup?
gauges just to have them for backup.
Yeah,
You know, and they're
yeah,
sitting in the container in my truck. But I love the ball valve versus the hand dials.
yeah. They're
I
nice.
do like that.
So
A
that
lot
was
of the
going to be
guys,
another.
a lot of guys I work with bought them,
So that was going to be another
got them.
question I
So
had was the whole analog digital discussion that everybody has. How do you teach analog in your class, or how do you go about that?
we do teach the analog in the class to show them this is what you have to do. This is
Yeah,
how you formulate these numbers because some guys don't want to spend that $3, 4, 6, $700 on a set of digital gauges.
sure.
And then we'll break out the digitals and show them stuff. Now we've got Yellow Jackets sending me a set of digital gauges for school. They're sending me two. I've got one for day school and one coming for night school. I've got a set of Testos, which I personally don't care for, and I've got the field
I was
piece.
gonna say I had the Testos and I turned around and sold them and got the field piece.
So the reason I don't like the Testos is because of the connection for the temperature probe. It's like a speaker connection. Field Piece and Yellow Jacket and Hilmar all have the K couple tile. Everyone, if
Oh
Testo is the
yeah,
only one that has to have that speaker connection. So you have to, if something goes bad, you have to buy theirs. You can't just buy anyone. Plus, it's just personal preference for me on that. But no, we do teach them the analog way. We teach them the digital way. We teach them both ways so they learn everything. Now you'll take this. You'll love this. Um, the first year guys, when it comes to swedging and flaring, we
hmm
make them go off the old yellow school flare blocks to teach them the old way, and we give them the old little silver bullet of the beat swedge. They have to beat
oh
and swedge and learn how to. Yeah,
yeah. They had us
and
do like every which way, when I went to school, and ultimately our bless you.
thank you.
Ultimately our the way we're supposed to do it was with the block, but they showed us all the older ways too, those spring benders and all that.
Yeah. So we show them the old school way. We make them go through the pain of beating swedge and smacking their hands with the clines, um, cussing and yell. We make them do that first, and then
Yeah.
we show them, hey, here's the new school way that we've had to go through. You just went through. Now let's show you this stuff here. I had one guy challenge me with the drill bit flare versus the Navac flare. We did the two flares, and he walked out with his head hung down low and went out and bought the Navac flare.
Yeah,
I, I,
it's it's the way to go. It's convenient, and honestly at this point in my career I just want whatever is easier on my body and prevent the wear and tear.
what we've learned from our time in the trade, it might cost us more for a tool that makes our job a minute or two faster, but that minute
Yeah,
or two faster saves us a lot of headache half the time,
yeah, and
if not
that's the
more.
thing that I get all the time. It's like, oh, like how much faster, how much easier can it be? I'm like, I don't care. Like if it's less frustrations, if it's less getting my arm tired or being in the sun or whatever it is that it helps with, that goes a long way, when you're going from call to call, and you're out there all day. So I used to do a lot of things. I never had a drill when I started. I didn't. I did everything by screwdrivers. I had nut drivers. I never drilled out anything, and I was like that for a while. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just give in and get all the power tools. And you know, uh, as I go,
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I like to do is just make my job easier, so it doesn't feel like a job. Most of the time it's just out there just getting stuff done, fixing things here and there, and move on to the next one.
yeah. We have a complex we do work at, and they've got four mini split heads on one outdoor unit. So depends on how it was installed, whether there's two branch boxes in the closet or all four lines go outside. However, one of the ones, it had two branch boxes installed in the closet. And I went out there and I just said, all right, I've got leaks in the branch box compartment. So they sent one of the guys out there. I quoted it for doing repairs and charging the system up. He fixed 18 leaks in that compartment. And he did it in half the time I put down because he used the NAVAC flare tool versus using the old school flare.
That's what it's about. Yeah. The time you save with like a lot of the NAVAC stuff, right? The battery powered stuff. And I, just like everybody else, I was very hesitant on the whole press fittings for refrigerant. Now I follow a lot of guys that do it. Like Jared is one on TikTok. There's a ton of guys on Instagram that prefer to use it over brazing, regardless, right? They're doing all these installs and they're knocking them out using press tools. I've seen enough to have confidence in it, and I can reach out to these guys too and just be like, hey, what's your experience on them? Do they leak or stuff like that. Like, so that when I get to it, I'm pretty confident in it. But then I still get people that are like, oh, that's cheating, or that's the easy way out. It's going to leak regardless, and this and that. So, to each their own. It saves me time.
And I will say this, I was a skeptical. I said, oh, anybody can pro press, anybody can do that, And then here I am, 5-6 years after they came out, whatever it was. I went out and bought a pro press just because I had to do a boiler job, and I was not brazing 1.25 inch copper up against this lady's pegboard that she just painted white. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go pro press on this, and it made the job look beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it made the job look beautiful. But there are guys coming up in this trade that's all they've done is press fittings. They haven't.
Oh yeah.
They may go to school and learn that how to braze or sweat and stuff, but I feel that these guys should be in the trade for a year at least or something like that before they start doing the press and fittings. Like I said, anyone can press as long as you know how to press. It's pretty easy to do and does save time. It does save time, and time is money. The fittings do cost more. But yeah, I'm a firm believer of learn the old school way first. You have more appreciation for the way that's come out now. And if all you're doing is pressing, yeah, it makes it look pretty and easy, but it's just also not an educational way. You don't have that that knowledge of how to do it. And a lot of the old school guys will tell these young plumbers that that's all they're doing is pressing. Y'all, you're not a plumber. I could get a dingy jack off the street to do plumbing or press fitting stuff. And they kind of got a point at some point. It doesn't take a rocket science to install the pipe and press a fitting on there, but it does take some brain knowledge to learn how to sweat and everything else and braze and do that job like it was originally meant to be. And it's just times have progressed where our industry's catching up, and these young guys are surpassing a lot of the older guys on certain things. Don't get me wrong. I've been doing it for 25 years. If one of these guys comes in behind me and comes in and is able to diagnose a unit quicker than I can because they have that computer knowledge, because my generation grew up with the internet being born, as where their generation grew up with the internet already being there, and it's been progressing with them, then so be it. I'll learn something. I've got no problem with that. We're all here to help each other out. More refrigeration. I'm just still learning refrigeration because the company I work for does it. I'm still learning how to work on it. It don't matter to me.
It goes both ways. You can't press everything. We've had tons of leaks, and you better know how to braze, to fix those leaks. Aluminum is another big thing. Stainless steel. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that you need to learn how to solder and braze for refrigeration, HVAC, whatever it may be. And you can't throw a bunch of press fittings together. I try to use them very, only in certain spots that I need it to, or only if I only need two joints to do, and I'm like, well, why am I going to bring the torches out? I'll just press them in real quick. Stuff like that. A lot of guys are not going to be going through like 10, 20 of these press fittings on a single job site. at that point you should probably be brazing and running your own copper lines, basically. So, there's
Oh yeah.
there's different sides to it, and to your point, there should be, or I'm glad that you guys are teaching, every which way, like you said, with the old school ways of different things. That's the way I was taught. They're like, let's make you suffer, and then you can learn, or we'll show you the easy way, and then you can, have that at your disposal, once you graduate and all that. So I do like that way.
Yeah, we try to keep them honest and humble at times.
And it's the same thing with the digital, right? Because you don't want them to be
Yeah.
reliant on digital or probes or whatever it may be, because they, you forget to push that button, right? Because it's happened to me. Forget to switch over your refrigerant or something, and then you're like, oh, it's right there. It's whatever this is. It's what it says. You need to know or get familiar with the different saturation temperatures, know what those are. Also, when I get called for tech support, with one of my guys or anybody or even my dad, because he doesn't really do this, and he's like, oh, let me just check real quick, make sure it's working, or maybe it's low on charge or whatever. I don't want to know the pressure number, right? I want to know the saturation number or the temperature of the evaporator or the condenser, whatever it may be. That's what I try and tell everybody. Look at the temperature. Don't look at the PSI number. That's another thing too.
Yeah. If you tell me your saturation, and tell me what your line temp is, I can tell you where you're at and how you're doing and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I can tell them, they go, oh, I'm running this pressure. I say, okay, so that means your saturation is this temperature. You should be running this temperature line. They're like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, dude, I've been doing it for 25 years. I got that beer can cold in my brain here. I just grab hold of that line. Yeah. We're cold, and they're like, huh?
It gets easier. I mean, like because I was like, when I started, obviously I had to get experience, but the guy that I ran with was a residential guy. That's not what I was going to be doing. I'm doing commercial refrigeration. So I was, working and going to school and then trying to get my license, with this experience. I was running all over the place. And a lot of times I was doing, once I got into the field with my dad, I was doing refrigeration on my own. The test, even my contractor's exam, that's all bookworm stuff for the most part. So it's just codes and like technical stuff. I got that pretty easy once I had my experience because my school counted for a lot of it. And then I just needed a couple years out in the field and, bam, I got it. But once I actually started doing the work, experience is very different from what you learn in school. Especially the more that your school is just textbooks, very different. So a lot of the stuff I learned on the fly, and I went through a lot with that. So the good thing is, like you said, the retention part, I had a lot of the stuff clicked once I got in the field. So make sure that you're retaining what you can. So some of my teachers would drill into us the whole saturation thing, right? Don't look at the number, look at the temperature. There's a lot of stuff that they drilled into my head over and over, and it clicked once I got into the field and I could do this and I could figure out all this stuff on my own. Because, man, those first few years, like I was really, really struggling, trying to figure out all this different equipment. It's very different from school.
Oh yeah. So so down to Expo. This is funny. I was in school that week as well. I was going to miss one night of class, so I was going to do a virtual that day. We got late on the bus getting back to the hotel, so I was doing class on the bus, and of course the guys from the Army were there with me, and they're popping their head in hi, saying hi to everybody. But we're back there, and we're talking about gas furnaces. We're all in my room and stuff. We're talking, and I said, one of the things about the gas furnace is a misconception people don't understand. They go, what do you mean? I said, okay, so you're converting a gas furnace from natural to propane. What do you change out? Oh, you change the orifice. I said, no, you don't. Yeah, you do. You change the orifice. I said, no, you're not changing the orifice. You're changing the spud, which contains the orifice. And they're like, spud? What's a spud? So I opened the book up, show them the book. They were like, I never knew it was called that. That's always called it the orifice. I said, yeah. We in the field we call the spud the orifice because it's got the orifice in it, but textbook wise, it's the spud. And it was funny to watch the guys just sit there and go, "Wow."
I've had those moments too where I go back and look at something in my book or my notes, and I'm like, oh, that's something that like I knew it, but I didn't know it too technical or something like that. And yeah, like that's another thing when I talk to some guys, which I try not to talk to some of the older guys around here anymore, because bad habits are hard to break. Um, they look at me funny, right? When I'm trying to talk like the stuff that are learned in school or whatever, this and that, the way I like to do things. They're like, what's that? I've been doing it, this way for so many years and nothing's ever happened. But, I do my own thing. I know what I learned in school. I know what I learned on the job in my experience. And I kind of just try to do things the right way, but like, just go in my own direction and do what I know. Um,
Yeah,
Even
and that's the
Michael,
thing.
even Michael here was like, to even know what superheat and subcooling is. That's another thing. Nobody ever checked that when I went into the field with guys. That's not something they checked, or even knew the difference of checking it at the evaporator versus checking it at the compressor, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Um, we all have different ways of doing things. I tell people, when they're in my class and stuff, there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's my way.
Yeah,
Now, half the time when I'm teaching you something, I'm teaching you the right way. I'm not teaching you the wrong way, but I will teach you stuff that's my way. That it is my way. There's some things that's my way, that's the right way, but it does kind of go a little easier to do it than the right way does it. I've the little tricks is something I've learned over the years. Say you can do it like this, but if you do this one little thing, it makes your life a little bit easier when you're doing that. And people are like, oh, okay, and every year you always have the one guy who challenges the teacher for the know-it-all, who says, "Oh, I can do that." All right, let's go challenge the teacher. And we pull the challenge out, and 90% of the time they fail. I think I have only had one person stump me because it was something that I did not know. It was more refrigeration than HVAC related. I was like, well, you got me because it's something I don't know. But other than that, if it's
yeah,
HVAC related, residential, light commercial stuff, they don't generally stump me very well. And it's fun to watch them backpedal, but I mean, I enjoy teaching them. I enjoy doing this. I was going to stop after I got 10 years, but like I said, we got some new guys teaching. They're enjoying it. There's been a new, basically, life given to me for wanting to stay teaching. And I'm going to continue teaching until the point of where I can't teach no more, or I'm too old school to the point where I need to get someone younger in to run the program. I'll stay as long as I possibly can before that happens.
yeah. And I had asked you about the kids earlier because I went through it. So there were the people that slacked off. There were the people that thought they knew everything. The older guys, because there's all different ages in um, that class that I took. And I've seen them. Some of them they had to kick them out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of different people, but if you I don't know, like if you make it interesting, I know a lot of the kids probably it's an interesting field to get into, the whole HVAC trade, and that's what got me into it because my dad didn't do HVAC. He does hot food, the cooking
Hmm.
equipment, and I helped him with that, but I wasn't super into it. Like it was cool and all, and it's a little dirtier than some of the HVAC stuff that I work on. So I wasn't super into it, but once I started seeing like specifically refrigeration, man, that stuff really intrigued me. So I work on like ice machines, ice cream machines, the soft serve ones. We're
Yeah.
doing like
Oh,
gas stations now, so like they want us to check their slushy machine, the soda stuff, the walk-in boxes. We do hospital work. The variety is what gets me and what keeps me like in the trade.
oh yeah. It's never the same. You can run a service call, 10 calls a day for 5 days a week, and you might run two of the same service calls, or two. You might run 10 service calls the same, but it's 10 different problems with the whole
Yeah.
situation. It's just the trade will keep your brain going, guessing, thinking, the whole 9 yards. And that's what I love about it. It makes me, I have ADHD, and it makes me think and use my brain. And I love playing with sheet metal. I love that, playing with my hands, and I'll have cuts all over my hands from playing with it. But then again, I love doing what I do. It's a fun trade. It's the hardest of the trades, but it's a fun trade.
Yeah, you have to know a lot to do this trade. There's a lot of responsibility also on our part with the stuff that we work on, and like I think we all have that whole ADHD thing. I think that everybody in the trade just has that. They can't sit still. I couldn't be at an office job. I couldn't be at a desk all day. I love traveling different places, different buildings, seeing different problems. So
Yeah.
I know I got a lot of like younger guys in here or people that are looking to get into the trade. I always encourage them to at least look into it. And like you said earlier, if there is a school that you're interested in, you can go and look at that school and get a tour or something, get more information, because that's where you're spending your money. You want to watch where you're spending that money. Interview these schools, so to speak, and check them out. Make sure that, like I always tell people, make sure there's hands-on, get to learn the ins and outs a little bit. It's nothing like out in the field, but at least it prepares you a little bit better than just textbook. And
Oh yeah.
and like I tell people, it's just one of those jobs that, like, it's always interesting, it's always fun. You have those rough days, those hard days, some piece of equipment might kind of kick you around and give you a hard time, but once you fix that equipment, once you get that going, once you get the cooling going, that freezer going, whatever it is, that's the best feeling in the world, conquering that.
Yeah, see, I didn't know anything about refrigeration when I got here. So one of the things
Yeah.
they taught me was they took me out. One of our company does, we sell and lease ice machines, and we have a property that's got 18 ice machines on it. So they sent me out there with one of the guys and taught me how to clean ice machines. And every time there's ice machine cleaning coming up, they sent me out there to learn it. And I can clean an ice machine like no tomorrow. I mean, my dispatcher's like, well, I don't have to worry about the ice machines not being clean because I know how anal you are and how particular you are, so you'll get it no problem. So, because she knows how particular I am with things, especially when it comes to residential maintenance. She loves it when I run residential maintenance calls.
But you kind of need to be, especially with ice machines, and then like the whole AC side of things. Like those things get moldy. They get all
Oh
sorts of
yeah.
nasty.
And so I go clean ice machines, and then we got a couple of restaurants that set me on one for a service call for a walk-in beer cooler, and I'm like, I was like, Doug, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this thing. He's like, just add this much refrigerant. It's just like it's just like a HVAC system. I'm like, Doug, I'm looking for 60 psi minimum on an HVAC system. That's not going to work on this. He's like, no, you're looking more or less for this psi. I'm like, okay, that's what I need to know. I need to know refrigeration runs lower pressures than your regular 22 residential AC unit. I don't know these things. So he's like, it's got a receiver, it's got this, you can put this much into it extra, put this much gas in it, and you should be good to go. Wait till it gets down, starts to drop temperature, and you should be get out of there. I mean, so I was working on refrigeration stuff through the phone with my boss, trying to figure out how to do some things. But I mean, other than that, ice machines, I've done a couple calls on ice machines without any help. And I just would call the boss after I found out the problem, and he would confirm it over the phone. Refrigeration, I haven't done a lot of those calls. I'll do maintenance on them. I'll go blow coils out and clean the stuff up. But other than that, I haven't had a lot of refrigeration calls because they have guys who are more skilled on it than me and get through it a lot quicker. And they'll send me on the residential or commercial calls. But hey, when we're slow, I'm still learning. 25 years in the trade, we still learn to this day. My boss he's been in the trade for 45 years, never touched a set of digital gauges in his life. Okay, he worked with me on a job and played with digital gauges and asked me how they worked. I hooked him up, showed him how they worked, and he goes, "That's pretty damn neat." He goes, "I like my analog though, but that's neat." So it's just times have changed for people, and us old school guys are learning the new stuff. The older guys that I call the senior techs, they're learning our stuff now that we're technically inclined on. And like I said, we got the next generation. They're going to blow us by with the technically inclined stuff. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of I'd say the next 10 years it's going to happen that way.
Yeah, and the whole like, because I like my analogs. I have analogs now as a backup. I have the field piece S mans. I don't like to take them all the time because they're like a little bit big. But the probes, the main thing with the probes is I can just have them in the tool bag, and not have to go back to the
Yeah.
van or anything like that. And I just have them on me at all times. So that's
Yeah.
the main reason I like those.
I've got the field piece probes in school just to show the guys how to use them. And I tell them, said, look, if you're a maintenance tech, I highly recommend the probes to you just for maintenance because you're not having to carry gauges up on the roof. But yeah, every new tool that comes out, I find ways to use it and what
Yeah.
part of the trade they should be used for.
Yeah. Mario over here, who felt faint before picking up ladders today? He's also from Texas, I believe. Man, we get like we had gotten out of our heat wave and then it came back. Like we got another heat advisory. It's like 110 plus right now.
Well, Mario, I wish I was there helping you, honestly, but I'm gonna lift this up. Let's see if I can lift this up a little bit. I'm gonna show you what I did, and you're gonna love this. So, see how my arm's dangling down here?
Uh-huh.
Watch what happens right here and right here when I get a flex. See how the muscles pushed right here?
Yeah.
So, see this right here?
Yeah.
So that's caved in. That's where the muscle's supposed to go.
Okay.
It's supposed to go across that direction, but it's all balled right here.
Yeah, I don't think Mario was in here. Yeah, Mario wasn't in here earlier. I don't think so. Jimmy had an incident with the ladder. Guys, be careful out there when you're getting on those ladders. That's we're going on high ass roofs, so be careful. He had a ladder that twisted over on your arm and ripped. Was it ripped, right?
Hold on here. So it was setting the ladder up, and the wind blew it, and it lifted up a little bit, and stuck my wrist between the two rungs, pulled my arm straight like this, pulled and twisted. When it did that, it popped the tendon at the elbow. So they're going to go back through on Friday morning. I'll find out tomorrow, Thursday night, what time. They're going to drill a hole through my bone, pull the tendon back through the bone, put a little button on the backside, sew the tendon to the button, and then close me up. They said 30, 45 minutes for surgery. I'll be there longer in the pre-op and post-op than I will be in surgery.
Yeah, man. Dang, that's crazy. All from just a ladder that we use every day.
A ladder. It's and I will tell you guys this. I'm a firm believer of taking care of your knees and your body and everything else. Yes, I'm 45. Yeah. I'm 300 plus pounds, but I'm very active. My doctor goes, other than the overweight, the little bit of high blood pressure, and a little bit of pre-diabetic you are, he goes, your cholesterol's great. All your numbers look awesome. He goes, you technically, number-wise, you're healthy. You don't look it, but you are healthy. So, I mean, yeah, I'm a big guy. It doesn't bother me. It is what it is. But I will tell you this. Get your knee pads, protect your knees, because that is a big thing. If you guys can, find you a chiropractor.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And I will get you a chiropractor that you can find that will help you out. Make you an appointment once a month, once every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever. Get to a chiropractor. Trust me, your back and body will love it. You don't realize some things when you're walking and everything. I know because I feel it all the time. These are my hips, left hip, right hip. My left hip is up and back. So it looks like that.
Yeah.
It's not squared up. Also, I know it's going to sound strange, and you're going to be like, what the hell? Go get you a massage once a month. Go see a professional that does massages for a living. Go get you a massage. You'll be surprised on how much better you feel after you walk at the massage for at least 2-3 weeks. I'm telling you, between the chiropractor and the massage, chiropractor once a month and massage once a month, I feel great. I do the chiropractor probably within the first 2 weeks, the massage the last 2 weeks. So it kind of keeps my body free and moving. Dude, I don't hurt as bad as I used to because of it. I haven't seen a chiropractor for 10 years. I added massage in about 3 months ago. I tell you what, my legs don't hurt as bad. My shoulders don't hurt as bad. My back don't hurt as bad. do it. I know it sounds bad,
Yeah.
it sounds weird, but get you a chiropractor and massage therapist.
Yeah. I've heard that from other guys too. Even Ben, HVAC Tactical, has talked about the chiropractor and the
Yeah.
importance of that and your body, right? You know, I don't go that far into it, but I've looked into it. But I just try to take care of my body too, right? You got to be, you got to
Yeah.
take care of yourself, like you said, knee pads or whatever you can. I try to make everything easier as far as like the torches, whatever I have, like make it easy. I use carts a lot too, try not to carry everything. And
Yeah.
like Mario here
That's
says,
my next purchase.
take half the truck to
To
the
the
roof
roof.
is a bit tough at 62. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my next purchase is one of those little cart things you pull like you have the beach, is to get one of those. That's my next purchase when I come back to work is because I got compressors. You do a compressor, you list everything you got to take with you. You got to make 2 trips with the dolly. Put it all in the cart and roll it over at once. Boom, done.
Yeah, I got a couple different carts for one for compressors. It's like a flatbed type of cart. And then I have another one that's like 2 shelves. That way I can take, my recovery, vacuum pump, everything I'm going to do when I'm brazing in one trip. I'm not going back to
Yeah.
the van for anything. I'm not lifting anything. It's just like, I feel like every year, that stuff just gets heavier and heavier. And I don't want to lift it anymore. I want to roll it out and do the job and get out.
Oh yeah, it's we get older every year and we get wiser on how to make our job a lot easier every year.
That's it. That I was gonna say we get older and we get wiser. That's perfect.
Yep.
All right, man. I don't want to keep you too long. Any last words? Where they can find you. I know you went over it, but in case you want to go over that again before we dip out.
Yeah. So you can find me always on TikTok at HVAC_teacher. I have a YouTube channel with the same name, but that just posts some. I usually take my lives from my TikTok and post it on my YouTube when I do a live. I just basically download it and post it there.
Oh, okay.
Instagram, it's HVAC_teacher 23114. You can find me in HVAC Army, which is the best place to get me because I'm always making sure things are taken care of on the Facebook page. You'll see me pop up in there. You'll know it's me because I'll have the little gray blob with a pig in the middle of it. If you see that icon, that is me. I'm the only one with that icon, the only one with the little pig who's proud of their pig icon.
Yeah, man, I love those drawings that they did for you guys.
Yeah, Troy's an amazing artist with all that stuff.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I love everything that you're doing with the whole classroom stuff, teaching these kids, the next generation, all that stuff. And then on the social media, being available, being helpful. HVAC Army has been great for the TikTok people, the Facebook people, wherever they find them at. And, keep doing that. And like I said, I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Yeah. And, anyone can always reach out to any of us on the Army, me, especially right now, because I'm not working. I got people calling me up, say, hey, can you help me out? So when I see them calling me now, I go, tech support, how can I help you?
Yeah.
So I know what they're called. So yeah, but we'll mentor anybody to help them out and get them to do things and everything. I know I'll forget whose podcast it was, but someone asked about they're living here and they're looking for a job. I said, hey, hit me on HVAC Army on the Facebook page. Let's talk. I talked to him. I was able to help that guy find someone from the Army in his area to help him try to get a job out of school in the trade.
Man, that's awesome. So yeah, follow HVAC Teacher, HVAC Army on TikTok. And all right, appreciate you for coming on, and I'll see you all.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
No problem. Maybe we'll do it again soon.
Not a problem. You know where to find me.
Yeah. All right. See you, man. I'm going to cue the outro.
All right.